The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystic. This is another episode of the Shift Report where shift happens. I'm your host, the Hood Mystic. Thank you guys for joining me. Today we're going to be discussing the blood moon lunar eclipse, and we're going to discuss it through the houses because the understanding of spirituality is best understood when you relate it to the personal. If we all talked about food, and nobody personally cooked the food, then we would be somewhere starving. But we would say, "Oh, I watched this video about food. It was amazing. Did it feed you? Nope." So ultimately, I want to discuss it where this information is personally digested for you. And with all that understood, man, I just want to, you know, allow any space for any comments, any feedback, any dialogue, because those things are important as well when we're discussing spirituality. There is no one size fits all because you might not like sugar on your food. I might love sugar on my food. Like when I go to the hood spots to eat food, I can't take it because it's too much salt. But the people that be at the restaurant, they love the salty food. So, with all of that being said, everybody has a different opinion and a different viewpoint. This is just mine. And of course, like, be active in the chat, be active in the comments. For one thing, getting your voice heard. And for another thing, just being able to have some form of back and forth. Because when we talk about online and we talk about spirituality, there is a certain level where this thing is convoluted all over the place. And then what ends up happening is that you feel all alone. And because you feel all alone, you're not even going to say nothing. You're not even going to do nothing. You're just going to continue to feel all alone. So the reality of spiritual development for me is to one, bring people together, and for two, like not allow lack of self development to just be like, oh yeah, you're good, you're cool, yeah. However you say it, it's perfectly fine. Like so, what I'm basically trying to say is that when we're discussing spirituality, we have to have a level of self reliance and accountability and ethical practice, which it's like when you deal with the reality of spirituality, that is very rare to find somebody that is even on the level where they even truly believe what they're talking about, truly understands what they're talking about, have truly experienced what they're talking about. So for a long and a short of it, a lot of people deal with spiritual reckonings in reference to blood moons. But I'm here to tell you that if you have been doing the work, if you do know how to cook your own meals, if you do know how to understand your own personal spirituality, then you can utilize this blood moon as a very powerful time for self transformation. But there's also a deep caveat to having a understanding of what spirituality means to you outside of this person is aesthetically pleasing or saying the things that I want to hear or motivating me, inspiring me, entertaining me, things of that nature. Whereas there is a specific purpose and understanding for spiritual modalities, is the same way if I gave you a paintbrush and I said, go drive my car, and you started sweeping my basement, we would be so confused. We wouldn't know what's going on in the grand scheme of things. And I swear to you, that is what spirituality is: buzzwords, healing, trauma. um List some of the spiritual buzzwords in the comments, like in the chat. Like, there's so many spiritual buzzwords that you hear over and over again, and it just dilutes and dilutes and dilutes it and dilutes it, that we don't have any clear uh ways to like build ourselves up and understand our true connection to the cosmos, our true connection to the earth, our true destiny, and our true path. Because what is so accessible to you in this moment, nobody is telling you directly how to unlock those particular doors. So if you find yourself watching this video, I hope that this is the moment for you, and I am just the vessel for which the message is transmitted through. That it's not about me personally, Kyrie, Anthony, none of that. That's not what this message is about. This message is very divine. I want to be used as a vessel to, because once again, I don't even understand the message. Like, I understand the message that I'm about to say, but this message isn't my message to understand. This is my message to transmit to the collective, so that they can begin to unlock their doors within themselves, so they can transcend to higher levels, so they can live a personal life. So it is like we're all playing a video game, and none of our worlds collide or interact. So if you ever played a video game back in the day, if you ever played a video game back in the day, um, did y'all ever use cheat codes or strategy guides and things of that nature, like, to help you win the game, right? To help you succeed through the game. No, if you play in Mortal Kombat, we would get books to teach us the moves so we could, be coder at the moves, as opposed to like just playing the game, don't know what the fuck is going on, right? Just use this video as a strategy guide to help you with whatever life that you're trying to live. Because the reality is this: there are no such thing as external teachers. When we went to school, we were just babysat while our parents went to work. When you go to school, that is just a place where, you send your kids. They teach them things. They don't teach them universal law. They don't teach them how to garden. They don't teach them how to build corporate credit. One's in the chat. They don't teach them business credit. They don't teach them about the Social Security. They don't teach them about the Federal Reserve. They don't teach them about printing money. They don't teach them how to create cryptocurrency. What they teaching your kids right now? How to be successful in life. So the download was that school isn't about the kids, school is about the parents. It's always been about the parents, because generally, the parent decides if the kid is going to school, what school the kid is going to a certain level. I know we got to a certain age where we started making our own decision. Mom, I want to go to this school, but by that time the damage was already done. So when we're talking about external teachers, which starts at school, then we go to college, then we're watching shit on YouTube. We're actively hallucinating in the space that we're actually getting taught something that is valuable and vital to our overall success. unless you pick the wrong major, right? There is a such thing as a person picking the wrong major, going to 4, 7 years. I heard that some doctors, when they're writing their dissertation, could take up to 10 to 30 years to finally get a residency, to finally get a job as a doctor, only to find out you hate being a doctor. So, what were you actually taught when you decide to do something completely different? So, ultimately, if we are not taught that there are internal teachers in reference to the only external teacher is the precise movements and influences of the solar energy, of the planetary energy. Because if we don't have particular planetary influences, the whole ocean floods the earth. Fires and famine and destruction just implode the whole entire planet. We are operating within a delicate balance of universal and cosmological mercy to even exist on this planet, to bear witness to, you know, rivers, oceans, cities, uh technological things, all at the mercy of the sun setting and rising, which no man can control. The moon holding back the oceans, no man can control. So ultimately, being alive in this moment, in this paradigm, is some form of a miracle that is, it is very important that you be present within the miracle as opposed to dealing with the programming. So a blood moon is what would be called a great reset. So a great reset is ultimately a complete and utter transformation. Back to the video game analogy. When you reset the game starts over. When you restart the game starts over. So the game has been a list of things, a list of crimes against God. Now, God isn't some man that's in the sky. God has been the melanated, indigenous, island cultures of North, Central, and South America for the last 500 years. The attack on God, God's people, God's earth, we are under a system, not by our ancient roots and culture, but by a parasitic elite of people that make you pay way more for things than you have. So your life is a constant leakage and seepage of your finances, your resources. Do you have access to land? No, you don't. Do you distribute that land? Do you build community? No, you don't. No, we don't. All of our success is capped by a system that we did not create. Our greatest of greats, our greatest of greats only exists within a system of, if we want to kill you, we can. We just choose not to. But if you say the wrong thing, if you do the wrong thing, we're taking you out. This is the world that we live in. This is the prison that we are in. How are you free? You know you're not free. The only reason that you think you're free is because you never tried to cross the border. If you ever tried to cross the border, like tried to go from America to Canada or America to Mexico, if you don't start to think about that shit, the way that you just can't simply walk and be in another country, you can't just go to Canada, can't just go to Mexico. Even though people do it, there are certain parameters and rules. And if Mexico don't want you to come into their country, you're not going. If Canada do not want you to come to their country, you're not going. How are you free? How are you free? You're under the illusion of freedom because we are not ready to sit and observe this actual spell that we've been placed under. For years and years and years, we've been frogs in boiling water, and they have slowly raised the temperature. And if you don't realize that it's boiling, it's going to be too late. If you don't understand the words that we are using, this world is real. Therefore, the emotional paradigms, the mental paradigms, if you ever got arrested and you can't tell them, well, I ain't know. I had no idea. I don't feel like I should be arrested. The cop then saying, well, yep, he doesn't feel like being arrested. We're not going to arrest him. He didn't know he was breaking the law. I didn't know that this check was fraudulent. I thought it was a valid check. Okay, we're going to arrest you and you defend it in the court of law. So emotions don't matter, feelings don't matter. This is reality. This is reality. And if you deal with your mother, if you deal with your sister, if you deal with your wife, if you deal with your husband, they're going to tell you what they think and they're going to tell you what they feel. One's in the chat. You deal with your son, you deal with your daughter, you deal with your uncle, you deal with your cousin. Well, I feel Ray Ray. I was thinking, Shaniqua, it doesn't matter. We live in a world of forms, facts, and figures, and unity and order. And we can, if when you try to organize with black people, you are then deprioritized. Hey, bro, we were supposed to do this at 6 o'clock. Yeah, I got this other shit that I need to do. One's in the chat. I got 17 motion. I can't prioritize and organize with you. You a black man. I got other shit going on in my life. Unity, man. I got shit. Well, let's unify for 20 minutes and then let's act like we didn't unify in the next for the next 23 hours and 59 minutes. And it's a reason why. It's a I'm talking about astrology, but we live in a real world. So I would have to relate all of the concepts, all of the downloads, all of the processes through realistic means. And if it's fairies and good feelings, motherfuckers say, good feelings. My mental health is going well. Yeah, the world though, the world going to shit. Irregardless, irregardless of how you feeling and what you thinking. So this is where we put on our big boy boxers and our big girl panties, and we say, what is my role in the revolution? What is my place in the revolution? Who am I awakening? Because a nigga will sit back and say, well, I got my shit together. One's in the chat. I got my house. I got my car. I don't know about you, Hood Mystic. Oh, I know you. I know you hanging on by a thread, but you'll figure it out. As long as I'm straight, got to take care of myself, and it's cool. But we're also referencing the sun in Aquarius. So the sun being in Aquarius, moving into Pisces, we all have a role to play. We are not in a vacuum. We have never been in a vacuum. None of us are self-created. A lot of our parents smoked crack. If you in my generation, you made it out of parents that was crackheads. And here you are. At least you made it. But you know, if your parents was crackheads, that if you didn't get help one way or another, you could have got help from prison, you could have got help from social services, you could have got help from an uncle, a cousin, a grandma. Your ass got help. If we are tribal people, the tribe has to help out one another. The tribe has to hold each other accountable in reference to assistance of one another. But by the time the sun reaches Aquarius, niggas have already left the chat. At least I got mine. What you doing today? About to get them new Jordan 12s, the red and black. One in the chat. The flu games. About to get the flu. About to get the flu games. So y'all organize for Phil Knight, but when it comes to black businesses, when it comes to businesses of people that you know and love, you can't organize a line of people that's buying into their business. The Keith Lee effect, things of that nature. Reviewing black restaurants or do it ain't even got nothing to do with black, but it have everything to do with the revolution. It have everything to do with colonialism. And if you think for a second, and it's a lot of people that benefit from colonialism, you know if you benefit from colonialism, but you also know if you do not benefit from colonialism. And if you do not benefit from colonialism, you need to fight back too. Because this is the war that has been waged against your ancestors. So why in the fuck do you think it's not waged against you? In your struggle, in your relationships, in how you raising your children. Your children won't get off that tablet. Your child will not get off that phone. Your child will not respect you, will not listen to you, cannot wash the motherfucking dishes. And you don't think that the war is against you. Soon as you turn your head, these kids is out getting cracked. We know how we was, millennials. We know how we was when we was outside. I think we invented it being outside. We was outside with it. You don't think it's happening now? You don't think it's worse now? You don't think it's happening younger? We at the gym, little boy on FaceTime, he 11, FaceTiming another little kid. And they FaceTiming. So you do the math. You add it up. So when you talk about a blood moon, you're talking about an ending. But we're talking about cycles and we're talking about beginnings and endings. So this cycle could have been within the last 28 days, the last year, the last 5 years, so forth and so on. But cycles represent long term cycles as well. And we got to understand. And for me, this has been a real life journey in self awareness as being a black man that had an obsession with living in Ohio. I was living in Boston. I said, fuck this shit. I want to live in Ohio. Why did I want to live in Ohio? Had no real conscious idea. My logic was the people are nicer, whatever. So, long story short, I get a job where I'm driving around Ohio and I see these things called Native American mounds. And the people that built the mounds weren't the Native Americans in the 1700s, 1600s, 1500s. It was an ancient race of people that predated the the settlers or the not even indigenous. So when we say Native Americans, we're talking about people that are native to the land. But the people who have settled the land, the people that are aboriginal or autochthonous to the land, are are a race of people that are called mound builders. So when I think of mound builders, I think of my personal race and my personal identity, which brings us into this Judeo Christian concept of African American and African centered thought, which takes us, we can't do that. We got to go to Africa to be saved. So, the long and the short of it is that we are able to recover our ancient mind through the understanding of processes. In this 400 years, 500 years has not been a long time in the grand scale of of wars that are being waged. But at the same time, this war has to come to an end, and it has to be in the minds and hearts of the soldiers. Because our ancestors did not die losing the fight. The fight continues on through us, but we are materialistic as a race, as a society. We are consumers as a race and as a society. We don't want to create. We don't want to unify. We don't trust each other. We don't like each other. We don't love each other. There has been violence. There's been infighting. There's been a whole smorgasbord of things that creates the condition of Black America today. But it all comes to an end because if 10 people can understand God within, the shift can take place because those 10 people are going to connect to another 10 people and it's going to continue to branch off. But the realities has to be we have to discuss the realities that God is not an external figure. God is an internal development. That's what God is. That's who God was. This is why we go to church and God ain't in the motherfucking church. Like he's literally not there. We got to use our imagination. When we go to church, when we go to a mosque, when we go to the temple, we got to act like God is there. We got to act like God is this imaginary thing. And we can't look in the mirror in reference to the world where there's life forms, animalistic life forms that are incomparable to you. That makes you a God. How you assert yourself in this reality, you act more like the animal that's being domesticated. Go to work and come home, watch my TV, go to work and come home, go to work and come home, go to work and come home, go to work and come home. Been doing it ever since your mom said, get the fuck out of my house. If you're going to live here, you're going to have to pay bills. All right, mom, go to work and come home, 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 go to work. And you think you God, you an animal. That's how they treat the sheep. That's how they treat the bulls. That's how they treat the cows. Okay? So, y'all know I get passionate about this shit sometimes. So we do got the article. Um, Let me see if I can edit it. I'm gonna edit it on the spot because what I got here and I can't change it. Well, anyways, I'll change it after I do the video, but I'll put in the description the link to the slideshow. I'll put in the description the link to the article. It's a very long article because it's a lot of information. And instead of going through the article, you can read the article. It's free. and I'll just get to the houses because, like I said, it's a lot of information. It's a lot that goes into it, but ultimately, it's for those that want to dive deep into the information. Because I just wanted it to be quick and concise, but the words they just kept coming, they just kept flowing, and there was just so much that I wanted to explain, and so much that, and this is as concise as I could make it. So it's not a bunch of different things. I mean, it's not a bunch of the same things. It's a bunch of different things that reference this particular time that we are in. Now, I don't just wake up and start studying the moon and start studying psychology and start studying the world. This has been my life's work and my life's passion for many, many years. And so, for me personally, it's making sense now. It's making a lot of sense ever since 2025. I've been working with a renewed interest in this paradigm called spirituality. And I don't care who rocking or who not rocking or who understand or who don't understand, because at the same time, the truth is like it still needs to be uncovered, and black people still need to fathom what the truth is, because the ways that we are assuming that it is to be truthful is CIA. It is social engineering. And because these things exist and because these thought forms are prevalent in our society, that means that a lot of people are walking around wearing a mask and looking at that mask and saying, "This is who I am. This is who I am. And this is the truth. This is who I am." And you looking at a mask. And then when we talk about spirituality, you think it's just this grand smorgasbord of when I think about it, when I thought about it, it made me think about this picture that I seen years ago in this book by Isaac Bonewitz called Real Magic. And I was looking at this picture when I first seen it. I thought it was the most randomest set of words and symbols and shapes. It was just like, what in the world? I could not grasp it. But 20 years deep, it all makes sense to me. Whereas when we look at spirituality, and it's a lot of words and concepts and ideations in ways that a person can be like almost flooded with the concepts, and then they just grab at something and then they identify with what they grab at or join this community, and my intuition is telling me this and I resonate with that, and you just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, spirituality can be very systematic. Spirituality can be very real, very mechanical, very matter of fact. But if your viewpoint of it is just this smorgasbord of information and knowledge, then you don't even understand what's taking place along your journey. Because, like, it's not super clear because I actually got it out the book because I couldn't find the picture online. So I just copied it out the book. So it's a point in here where it's like knowledge and personification, and how learning things, you can personify what you learn, but that don't make it truth. So you might like what you're learning about and say, okay, this is me. I'm a real estate agent, but you might not want to market, or it might be more cutthroat than you really prepared for, and then you might feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me, I don't know. But you should never personify what you're learning. You can learn information, but your goal is to understand you. So in all of these particular thought forms and paradigms, what you'll see throughout it is unity, unity. Out of every single So you ever been like on some spiritual stuff, and then like you and your homeboy, y'all like reading, y'all talking about shit, y'all like going to the park and meditating, like y'all reading tarot, y'all like really getting into this spiritual shit as homeboys, but your homeboy, he get a girlfriend that he really like. You know what I'm saying? Like he like her, he like, man, I'm about to marry her. He might outright not tell you like he ain't about to fuck with you no more, but he stopped fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? He stopped fucking with you because what's more powerful than all of this shit being one with something? So don't fool yourself, don't kid yourself in this spiritual shit where it's been many times people come to spirituality and they be really into something, but they have like a husband or a boyfriend and he just not with it. And they get more caught up. So, say for instance, you love the science of self discovery, self actualization, and your husband just want to work at his factory job, and you meet a nigga like me talking about self actualization, and you start to think like, yeah, I should be with a nigga like Hood. No, you shouldn't. Unity is the most powerful force. All of this shit leads to unity. So if you separate from your family to pursue some spiritual shit, see, like one of the bubbles is association. Association ain't unity. Like unity is unity, oneness. Like you can't really describe it. It's so pure. If you have that, all of the self discovery, man, it's not going to be like it's not going to absolve you from one day having a successful relationship. That's why, as much as I've learned about this stuff, I've always talked about relationships being like one of the pillars to everything that I do, one way or another. Because I'm just talking about anything that you could learn and process and fathom, it pales in comparison to somebody like being in your life for real. And sometimes people take this spiritual shit way too far, like way too far, that they start to disassociate with the people that's actually in their lives. So, once again, if you overwhelm with magic and it looks so, or spirituality, and it looks so convoluted, there's so many terms and associations and this, that, and the third. Love, because I'm processing at the same time, and I'm processing love and intellect. And love is like so much larger, so much more massive. So like it's not, you can never be as smart as this love, this unity principle. Like it's like, but it's like, you got to work, you got to take care of shit, you got to live, you got to do all of this shit that, if love is not helping you get to that process, you got to actually think, is that actually love? Is that unity? If like unity is like we're unified, but I got to make all the money, I got to make all the sacrifices, I got to make all of the risks. Unity is we, we, us. You know what I'm saying? That, because a lot of times people will have, what is the word I'm looking for? Limerence. People be in limerence type of situations and then confuse it with love, and that would distract you. So learning unity, learning love, learning how to really communicate and build with one another is so much more pure, so much more beneficial. Whereas when we talk about spirituality, a lot of times people don't have that. They don't have that piece. that piece, and they're using all of these buzzwords, all of these terms, manifestation, associations, um, knowledge, personifications, with the fact that they lack true unity and true love. So I get into that a little bit more in the article. The title of the article and the overall root theme of my rant and conversation is that when we're talking about spirituality, we got to be precise. And the reason that I say this is because when we look at the chart, when you talk about the North Node, the South Node, which are not planets, there are just mathematical observations that humans make. But whenever you have a full moon, whenever you have a new moon, when the moon is conjunct this node or 5 degrees in reference to this node, we have a lunar eclipse. It's a mathematical truth. It's an unavoidable truth. You don't have a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse when the moon or the sun is away from the nodes. So whenever we have a new moon or a full moon that is around the nodes, we're having an eclipse. This is why an eclipse can be at any time of the year. It's not related to a leap year, a calendar, or nothing. It's only related to whether it falls within the nodes. That is very precise. It the chart knows, like the chart knows about humans. Humans will make a eclipse happen on a president's birthday and call it Roosevelt's Day or some shit like that. Because when you look at Easter, when you you know Easter is the first full moon of spring, but they not gonna. And this is why there's no such thing as external teachers, because we getting taught about a motherfucking Easter bunny. We getting taught about Jesus raising on this day, and here it is, an astrological observation. That's all it is. And this is what makes you a scientist. This is what makes you a magician, because you understand full moons and new moons and you do your spiritual work during those times. Because it's not about you impressing me. It's not, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I got my own game that I'm playing. That's what it's about. How do you want to play your game? What is your outlook? What do you want your life to look like? So we got to tackle certain ideas in reference to anxiety, because it'll be like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm 40 fucking years old. If I knew I was gonna make it this far, I would have been 18, thinking, say, oh, I'm gonna be 40 years old. What do I need to do from now to get to here? But when you got anxiety, when you struggle with mental health, you don't even know if you're gonna make it through the weekend. You stressed over bills. I'm stressed over all types of shit. But the fact of the matter is, I was 18, now I'm 40. I could have projected into the future and said, I'm going to live my life exactly like this. And guess what? Nothing was going to stop me. If I didn't get to where I was supposed to get to by this time, it was my fault. And so when I come to that accountability within myself, I say, well, why didn't I look forward with favor? Then I start to understand mental health is a real thing. If you are mentally decapitated, you won't even be able to look forward and say, man, this week I'm going to have a good week this week. If you anything like me, you waiting for the shit. You waiting for that left hand to drop. You waiting for something bad to happen. That's a trauma response. That's like, you got to really fight against that. Because now when we talking about, all right, this full moon is an end to all of our trials and tribulations, and we can create a better life for ourselves. And all right, that's cool, but I'm anxious. you just going to be anxious. So it's certain things that you got to begin to fight back against so you can begin to project in that future space, because the knowledge is the knowledge and time is time. You going to live for another 10 years. You going to live for another 20 years, another 30 years. You should be intentional. You should really think about how you want to live your life over these next 10 years and start getting to it. Well, I don't feel like it. Well, I was thinking that you was thinking that you was going to fail, so you didn't even you didn't even put nothing behind it. You said, I'm going to fail, so I'm going to just sit back and watch these Netflix shows. You had time, opportunity today to work towards your goals. Did you or did you not? Because every new moon, every full moon, every solar eclipse, every lunar eclipse is a precise measurement that no man is coming in here. Donald Trump can declare war on the taxes, on the tariffs, on the financial systems. He can declare government war, all types of shit, but he's not going to change a new moon from a full moon, from a lunar eclipse to a solar eclipse. But I'm going to tell you what he is going to do. He's going to use the energy to manifest some shit in his life. Elon Musk, they're not going to tell you that they set intentions for themselves. They just going to have a market planning meeting. All right, we're going to buy Twitter this week. So, man, I'll be really yapping because I ain't even get to the damn slideshow yet, but y'all know how I am by now. If you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever know me. Ooh. So, give me a second. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. Shout out to the ladies. Some of the fellas. So, we got a Leo moon. This Leo moon is in the last decan of Leo in the sidereal chart. That is representing an anaretic degree, which is the final, it's like the final boss. It's the final countdown. So when we look at the sun opposed the moon, it's like a snapshot. So the sun will be at 29 degrees Aquarius, Leo will be at 29 degrees Leo, and Uranus will be at 29 degrees Aries. These are also this Uranus and Aries energy. What you would notice is that Uranus is retrograde, and so the stocks and the crypto are retracing. And so I hate this shit, bro. It's 2020 25. Can y'all stop saying the market is crashing? Like, can't y'all say that the prices are dropping? The prices are lowering, so people would then buy more stocks. You say the market is crashing, you scaring people, but only the prices are lowering. So Uranus is going Aries. The prices are lowering. These are buying opportunities, my guys and friends. The world is not going to end. The world will continue on. See, and this is what these blood moons, so the blood moons will be the Christian pastors saying that the world is going to come to an end. They've been doing that shit. It's outborn in 1984. They said 1992 the world was going to end. 1997 the world was going to end. 2000, one's in the chat if 2000 the world was going to end. After the World Trade Center fell down, the world was going to end. 2008, the markets was never going to recover. 2020, the world was definitely over at 2020. 2012, one's in the chat. 2012, the world was going to be over. I really thought this shit was over at 2020, 2012 for real. I was like, man, I can't believe the world was over. Like, it did something psychologically and mentally to me, bro, in 2012. I would have made better decisions if I didn't actually believe that the world was going to fucking end in 2012, bro. So I'm saying all of it to say Trump being in president and all of the markets crashing and the tariffs and all water seeks its own level, meaning that the rulers of this planet are not men. The archons of this planet are planetary forces. Bro, do you know that they can flood this whole shit if they want to? This is why ancient people, they understood who Zeus was. They understood Mount Olympus because it wasn't it wasn't for a fetch of imagination for a saber-toothed tiger to take you up out of here. And you would have to reflect on the fact that damn, it's actual wild beasts in this world and I'm still living. That must mean something. We live in a world with fentanyl, the cartel. It's millions of Venezuelans undocumented in this country right now. And you like, damn hood, I'm scared. Your ass still gotta go to work. Stop playing. Let's be real about this shit. Contra, they've been fighting in they've been fighting in Peru for years. They've been fighting in Mexico for years. The drug cartels been drug carteling for years. Yo ass done bought weed. Yo ass done bought drugs for real. You know what I'm saying? Yo ass no drug dealers talking about I'm afraid, man. It been over. It been a game. We either you should have been afraid 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Don't be afraid now. This is not the time to be afraid. This is the time to look ahead. This is the time that we begin to understand the power of our spirituality, the power of our individuality. Because like I said before, we all individually can amass fortune and never intersect, never see each other again. That's just the way life is. It's people in your damn family you ain't seen in years. You don't know what the fuck going on with they ass. I'm gonna tell you what's going on with them. They don't exist. They only exist when you decide to create that image of them in your mind to call, and now you using a device that you don't even fucking understand to call somebody and to talk somebody, and you are hallucinating. People not ever really seeing you, talking to you, understanding you, because you don't even understand it yourself. I dare you to start speaking some truth. People will disown you like an instant because they don't have that actual script in their NPC software to respond to you. So whenever you say something, anger is just saying, I don't have that script in my software. So they'll start gaslighting you, calling you crazy, saying, what's wrong with you, Cletus? And this is the world that you always going to live in. It's always going to be a little weird and a little fucked up and a little sketchy. This is why we have to have self mastery. This is why we have to be accountable. This is why we have to have boundaries. We don't have all of these things because this world is perfect. This world is flawed. So just understanding a Leo moon, you don't come to this point and you're like, okay, I am this perfect being in this perfect world. That's not what a victory is. When you look at Leo in the 29th degree of Leo, that's a battle that you win, right? A battle that you win. Cool, a battle that I win. Nah, think about it. A battle that you win. Like, imagine you had to fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Oprah Winfrey in The Color Purple. All my life, like you had to fight to get to where you are today. You had to fight to get here. One's in the chat. Your ass got a fucking 2020 vehicle. You had to fight for that shit. Your ass got a fucking 2-bedroom apartment. Your ass had to fight for that shit. Your ass got a good ass job. You had to fight all your life. You had to fight. You know what I'm saying? You fought for everything you got. So a battle that you won, that you have fought for, now the psychology in this degree, right? Remember how The Color Purple, where Oprah, she's telling she's telling Celie, all my life I had to fight, right? As a saying of like, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm done fighting this nigga. I'm not about to fight in my own house. All my life I had to fight. So the psychology of a warrior is not, I'm gonna wake up every day and fight. It's like, you fought for this. You fought for this. Now what? What did you fight for? Cause then it's like, with the crazy part of it, right? Let me get into the craziness of it. You fought for a 2020 car that you got to pay $1,000 a month for. You fought for a 2 bedroom apartment with 500 square foot. Yeah, you fought for this petty ass shit. You see, you fought for it. Now you got to pay 2,000 a month for this 500 square foot apartment. Now you got to pay $1,000 a month for your car with the insurance. That's just your car and insurance, your car rent and insurance, that's 3K. So you at least got to get a job that's paying you 3K. Your job pay you $2,000 after every 2 weeks. That's cool. But now you got $1,000. That's cool. But you got $1,000 for the month. That's brazy. That's brazy. So now you gotta, you know, turn that 10 to 5 through the credit. You know what I'm saying? Using your little credit cards here and there, paying your minimums. You fought for this. So ultimately, like when you look at Leo is the type of energy where it's like you an actor and you're an agent for the government and everybody know it's like American Ultra where you this high level CIA agent and everybody know you an agent but you don't know. You think you just doing the best you can do in life, right? But once again, what makes you an agent versus self actualization? Leo is raising Kundalini. So when you raise Kundalini, you have the awareness of self to then say, oh shit, you would be like employee of the month. You know what I'm saying? Getting $40 an hour. You like, damn, this shit is good. Like I'm at a good place in my life. I ain't never think that I could get a good job. I ain't never think I could be employee of the month. And then you raise Kundalini, you looking at yourself like a goofy. Cause you like, damn, I could have owned my own business by now. I could have been hiring all my homies and my family. I could have been expanding my empire by now. You like what's good to you is like you good, but you can also be great. That's Leo. So Leo is very self-evaluating, self-critiquing, trying to figure, God, man, my son is in Leo, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a Leo, so I understand this energy where it's like you believe in yourself. A lot of times you your biggest fan. And that can carry you through, but then you feeling crazy because you like, damn, do I really got it? And good thing for me, I got the sun in the 11th house. So eventually I got confirmed all of my biases that I had when I was all alone, where I'm thinking I'm around my family and I'm thinking a certain type of way. And it ain't making sense how they thinking, but it makes sense how I'm thinking. So my only idea is like I gotta get the fuck away from these people. I gotta get far away and figure it out on my own. And eventually that thought process, it got me to where I'm at now, which I would feel like, damn, I'm happy that I did that because I could have been trying to make my family happy my whole life and they never even saw the vision. They never even understood nothing that I was talking about. And it's not, when people make these declarations, it's not to be anti-family, but it's just to be pro self, pro personal development. So this Leo moon for the collective, for the masses, it's a self evaluation. So wherever Leo is at in your chart, this house is where you have to be very critical at, because you could be. I've had jobs where I've been like cool at, like good jobs where I'm like, this is where like people like, yeah, you'll be a manager in 2 years, Kyrie. You're awesome. You're killing it with your numbers, pal. You're fucking killing it, dude. You're killing it, dude. I'm like, all right, I'm killing it. But I never felt like, I don't care what position you've given me in this job. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a writer. I want to have my own business. I want to make it on my own. I don't care if I make $20 on my own, but I work for you and you give me 100. I'm taking that $20 that I made on my own. That's just my personality, right? But once again, that's my son, that's my 11th house, right? So for me, a lot of a lot of my life is just in the collective, in the community. Like if I'm not building community, I feel like something is wrong with me because I've built up communities online. Like I built up Slacks, I've built up apps. You know what I'm saying? Like I built up YouTube, I've built up an Instagram, I had a Facebook with like 25,000 people in it. You know what I'm saying? I've built up people in real life. I've done a lot of events around Michigan and things of that nature. Like I'm pretty much a extroverted, outgoing person. And I say all of this to say I didn't know a lot of this about myself until later in life. Like I felt it, but I didn't know it. And if I didn't know it, I didn't really confirm it. But I say all of that to say I did know it. I never gave up. I knew I never gave up. I'm always having a level of hope that things are going to work out in my favor. So even though this job is good, it's paying me a lot of money, my heart, Leo rules the heart. My heart is not satisfied with that. I had a job with the electrical company and they offered me a wonderful job. But I just kept thinking about how much I was sacrificing and how much time I was giving up that I had to really look in the mirror and be like, are you do you work for, the electrical company? You about to be climbing up poles and shit? Like this is who you are? I got my CDLs to this day. Like I could hop you know, in a semi right now and whip that bitch. But when I look in the mirror, do I see a truck driver with steel toe boots getting up and down the outside of the truck, eating subs and shit all day? No, I don't see myself. I don't see myself like that. The person that I see myself as is the person that I truly feel like I should be. And the interesting thing about that, it's not very agreeable to people around me. Even to me, it's not always agreeable. But I always find myself back at this reflection point where I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? It's like, all right, study. All right, pull up a chart, start breaking down the chart, start understanding this thing from a metaphysical perspective. And if I'm at a point in my life where I just don't know, I'm like, my back is against the road, I will study and leave that study with a lot of clarity. And I'm just always in awe and forever grateful to whatever ancestor, whatever energy, whatever deity look down on me and say, we not gonna forget about you. We gonna tell you the truth. Because I like in my heart, I felt like that was what was always happening. Like my whole life I always felt like an alien. Like I wasn't of this world. I was like literally sent to this planet. And I've just always looked at all of these weird idiosyncrasies and all of this weird shit. Like it's something special about you, Kyrie. But even though I'm telling myself it's something special about you, I'm also seeing like it's not matching up. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the trap house freaking black and mild. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, where the hoes at? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like really living my hood glory, but at the same time, I'm knowing that it's something better for me. And so if I look at it as a cyclical period that's reaching its ultimate crescendo at this 29th degree, it's everything that I'm actually not. I'm putting that up on a shelf. And everything that I absolutely am, that's how I'm moving forward. So I'm just sharing that with y'all. So when you begin to think about this energy, you can have a long-term reflection of those. Hopefully you get to a point where you comfortable in your own skin. You comfortable in your own whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You comfortable in that because it took me a while to get to that space. But at this present time, I'm comfortable in who I am. You get to that level, it's parts of you, parts of your development, parts of your life, parts of your emotional body where you wasn't always okay with that. You didn't understand it, and you were hoping that one day you would meet some friends and somebody would wrap their arms around you and love you and help you and assist you. But that never happened. And now you still feeling lost. Congratulations if that never happened. But if it did happen to you, that's not the answer. But back to those who it never happened to, the reason that it never happened is because all of this energy, all of these teachers, all of these ancestors, all of your guides are within you. They're within you. This is why. And so once you get to open that up, that's why we're studying the chart, because we are studying that which is within you through the precise measurements of the calculations of the astrology. You understand yourself. So this could be a broadcasted message, but each and every person is going to hear this and understand it in their own way. So for those who have experienced doubt, fears, insecurities in reference to how they want to show up in the world, understand that. But this full moon is that point where all of your distractions, all of your fears and putting yourself out there, you lay those to rest and you just accept who you are, what you've been put on this earth to do. Now, since the sun is in the Aquarius, we are talking about our roles and responsibilities within the collective, and a lot of us haven't matured to that. In my travelings and talking to people, a lot of people have a hard time with truly getting out of their shell, truly connecting with people, and you might be afraid of that. People, like, they're worried about how they'll be received, and all of these are valid concerns. But when we are moving in the affirmative, we are moving in the spirit of truth, a tornado could come and blow your house down, but you do have a level of protection that you're not fully aware of. That's what brings me back to the video game analogy, because it's just a game that you're playing. In that game, yeah, tragedy could happen, but also tragedy could be avoided if you are following the proper study guide, if you know the ways to take, if you are patient, if you are aware. And even in that, you've been playing the game perfectly, and then a monster come out of nowhere and take you out. That's the nature of the game. You could say, well, if something bad can happen to me, then I don't want to play. And that's the nature of risk. Something bad can happen, but something good can happen. That's why we set intentions. This is why we try. This is why we start things. You don't I don't post a video, I don't post content just knowing, oh, this shit about to go crazy, this shit about to go viral. I could do a video and two people come to this motherfucker, and I'm just like, all right, I don't know. I don't even pay attention to how many viewers or nothing like that. because that dilutes the message. That dilutes the transmission and the download. It's about one individual understanding, and then from that understanding, how do you take the information and move forward? How do you play your game? All right. So, and it's so crazy, right? I got a whole presentation for y'all. I ain't even started it, bro. I ain't even started it. So, y'all know how I get. Y'all know how I get. So the lunar eclipse, which takes place tonight, check Google for your time zone, the actual time that it happens. My personal opinion is that you figure out when it's happening and you bear witness to it. You allow the energy to just fill your soul, fill your astral body up. You know, you might be tired, you might be asleep. I don't know what time is happening in your area, but set an alarm because when I witnessed the blood moon, a total lunar eclipse, the last time it happened in 2016, that changed my life forever. And it's not about sleeping and it's happening because that's one level of it. It might affect you, but this is an event. This is something that's going to change you at a psychic level, at a spiritual level. The world is not going to be the same, not on no doom and gloom, but when we understand eclipses, whether a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, we're dealing with the magnification of celestial phenomena. And all this means is that when it comes to your personal life and your personal desires, be in the awareness that these good things can happen, because when we talk about a lot of this stuff, although you might listen to it for a day, what happens as soon as you get off the live? Your anxiety creep back up, you back in fear mode. So deal with your mental health, deal with your emotional health, because it plays as the block to celestial phenomena. This lunar eclipse is going to happen whether you think it's going to happen or not, whether you feel it's going to happen or not. It's going to happen. So you might as well just clean your dishes. You might as well just clean your cup. You might as well say as pure as possible. So when this lunar eclipse energy shines forth through the planet, it will hit you like it's supposed to hit you. So, in reference to how it's going to hit you, I don't know why I keep doing that. Let me try to keep it focused. Okay. In reference to that, you would need to do a sidereal transit chart. So, like I said, I'm gonna put the link in the description of the slideshow with all of the links that I'm showing you. And so, for me, I would just put my birthday, and this is how you figure out what house the full moon is at in your chart. I know most of y'all probably know this already, but it's always people that have no clue of what I'm talking about. I'm doing a reading. Sometimes people be like, what you just said?" Like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, and I will explain it. I like explaining it from the beginning. I used to didn't like it. I used to be wanting to just be on some advanced shit, but now the more that I study, if you don't understand the fundamentals, you don't really understand shit. So even for myself, I try to when I read new information, I try to look at it. Even if it's old information, I try to look at it through a new lens. So give me a second. So the time for the lunar eclipse is around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. At least it is for the astrology. So yeah, it may be a little bit earlier. Because if it's like 7 o'clock on the East Coast and you're in the West Coast, it's still dark. I think even 7 o'clock out here, it still be dark. So I'm just trying to So it's not even 7 o'clock. I'm trying to just get the right time so y'all can put it in your chart so y'all can get it at the right time where the sun is going to be at 29 and the moon is going to be 20 at 29. So it's even earlier than 6. Let's just say 5 in the morning. And I'm up talking dirty to you. All right, so it's going to be even earlier than 5. I'm going to go with 4. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Where you going to be? Outside on the corner? So, according to AstroSeek, the full moon will be around 3 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you check Google because I don't want to be quoted on that, but make sure you check Google and see what time the full moon is going to be in in your time zone. Because it'd be like it'll start at a certain time, but it'll get red at a particular time, and then it'll phase back out. So you want to watch it when it's completely red, and you can just watch it. You can even watch it online, but once again, the most important thing is just to figure out what time is going to be specifically at. So you pull up your transit chart. You can put 3 o'clock on AstroSeek, and the moon is in my 29th degree in Leo, which will put it in my 11th and 12th house. So the moon is going to be in my 11th and 12th house, and this is something that you want to figure out in your chart. It's by far the most important thing that you want to know in reference to the full moon. Fuck anything else. What house does this lunar eclipse fall into my house? Is it in the first house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, ninth house, 10th house, 11th house, 12th house? Now, what we're going to be talking about is from my perspective, from my viewpoint, but it's not the overall, it's not for everybody. It's just my perspective, right? My personal perspective is in reference to melanated people who have more or less suffered based upon lack of knowledge because we might imagine that God is on the outside of us or God is not looking at each other in the eye. You know what I'm saying? We might attack each other and hate each other. But us as black men, us as black women, we must be mature enough to look at each other, and this is from a person who have went to prison. So maybe this is, because a lot of times people just want to be in this bubble of perfection, but the reality is that even as a person that is flawed, we can still look at each other. Even if I made mistakes, even if I hurt your feelings, even if I talked about something that you ain't want me to talk about, even if I ain't looked the way you wanted me to look, you know what I'm saying? Even if I ain't dressed the way you thought I was supposed to dress, whatever the case may be, right? We can still look at each other and say, you know what? I love you, Hood. I love you, Ra. I love you know what I'm saying? I love you, Stacy. I love you, Susie. We need to figure this part out because the real racism is that we can't unify unto each other. The real racism is us being jealous of one another and not working together without scamming each other. That's the real racism. The real racism is how we feel amongst each other, right? So this is the purpose of my conversation. And so it might not be your cup of tea. I was just preferencing that. But in this, it's not just going to be a bunch of video. I mean, it's not going to be a bunch of slides. I got some videos already programmed into the slideshow. And so this is just going to be the first video to more or less set the tone, and then we'll continue with the full moon lunar eclipse through the houses. Make sure you like the video if you like it. Put some ones in the chat if y'all can hear everything okay. And give me 1 second. All right, put a one in the chat if y'all can hear this. And I'll do this before each video because I don't want it to play and y'all can't hear it. So I won't start it until I know y'all can hear it. Put a one in the chat if y'all could have heard that. You know, this YouTube shit be having an ill delay. All right, cool. Somebody said they couldn't hear. Okay. It was only a minute video, so I'll play it again. Whenever that happens, I just have to reshare it. So whenever y'all can't hear, just put it in the chat. And yeah.
If you needed more reasons to think that Columbus was a okay, let me add one to it. So, in one of the places, I think it's Hispaniola. It's his third voyage, 1503 or 1504. He's got to get back to Spain. He doesn't have enough resources. So he asks the natives, would you please give us some of your stock that you have collected from your farming? Now, this particular group of natives only makes exactly the amount of food they need to tie to the next crop. So they said no. Columbus knew that 1 week hence, coincidentally, there was going to be a total lunar eclipse. He says to the natives, if you do not give us food, my God, which is more powerful than your God, will make the moon disappear and it will turn blood red. That will happen in 1 week. You have 1 week to comply. Some of them were skeptical. What? You can't. What? Sure enough, right on cue, the moon begins to disappear. And notice the natives bowing to him, and he stands proudly because he knows the science. And they bring him all the resources he wants.
My bad, somebody was calling me. But I'll do that from now on. I'll do that from now on. Just I'll just stop sharing it and sharing again to make sure y'all can hear it because it'd be a hell of a delay. So by the time y'all hear it, I done already had it been playing for the damn minute. So with that being said, let's just go through the houses. And so with all of these houses, I had like an image that came to mind, a concept or a person. So it gets kind of interesting in relation to just understanding the energy through the lens of the houses. So the reason that I have Dennis Rodman, he's a basketball player, and for my young eyes, right, this was probably the wildest thing that I ever seen. This basketball player with blonde hair that didn't shoot, didn't make points. All he did was rebound. Like this was my favorite basketball player, but it was mainly due to his appearance. So if Leo is in your first house, you got to think about how you showing up, right? So like y'all the people. that's pushing the fashion trends forward and got all of the style and all of the fancy haircuts and all that type of shit. Like that means something to the collective. And so if you was probably that person in high school, you know what I'm saying, you know you was that girl, and then you kind of had some kids and working and you now you just showing up and you know what I'm saying, sweatpants and shit to pick up the kids from practice and all that shit, you done lost yourself. Baby boy, you done lost yourself. You just showing up however you want to show up. And it's like, all right, think about Dennis Rodman. And a lot of y'all probably don't understand it. Y'all not millennials, but when Dennis Rodman came with the colored hair, that was like he just unlocked something in our melanin. Like he unlocked something like, oh, we can be different. But like when you look at the world now, you know what I'm saying? Dennis Rodman would be like bland. But I feel like he is definitely a trendsetter and using his appearance to make a statement. And then when you wanted to criticize him, he get like 18 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like just an absurd amount of rebounds. And it just be like, bro, your performance and your look, you feel me? Like your performance and your look is just like, ugh, like this nigga just too cold. Like I can't do nothing with him, you know? And you gotta think if Leo is in your first house, like, you know what I'm saying? I be trying, but you know what I'm saying? I can't do it like you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got that drip, like them young kids say. You know what I'm saying? You got that impact. You got that. Hey, where you get that from? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You might just be just showing up regular, and so when we talk about the blood moon, we reflecting on the parts of ourselves that just knew we was that nigga for real. Like I knew you was him. But you just kind of you either had a toxic relationship or mental health ailment. You feel me? You kids will do it, right? And you just kind of lose yourself. If you know you got it in you, because we're really understanding how to play this game. We're playing this game with gratitude. We grateful for our gifts. We grateful, like a lot of times our appearance, that's probably why you got that job. Probably why you got that man. Probably why you got them kids. Probably why you got that favor. Right? A lot of times, but we also looking at it as like these are our codes on how to unlock with the public. Cause what you have noticed is when you looking like a bum, they treat you like a bum. You get bummy niggas that come up to you, hey shorty, can I get your number? And you gotta start reflecting on yourself. If you was carrying yourself the way you were supposed to carry yourself, you wouldn't even have had the audacity to come up to you. So it's like understanding your uniform and especially as melanated people, where they try to shut that off, you can unlock that. And we live in a world now where it's just easier to represent that. So whatever you doing, don't forget this appearance piece. And then when you like really reflect on it, because Leo and Aquarius and Uranus, they have like a weird relationship where it's like Beyonce, what make Beyonce is that Beyonce is Beyonce. Like Beyonce is Beyonce. Like Beyonce ain't like other people. She very she's very individualized in the way she speaks, in the way she loves her husband and her family and her children and her music and her craft and her employees and her friends. It's her signature. So your identity and your appearance is your signature. Now, when you think about your self esteem and your mental health, these all play into it too. So if you're looking at yourself and you're looking at your finances and everything, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, you have to begin to start to like really get into this knowledge of self and really start to think about your plans and your plans that can be executed over time, not the plans where people will say yes or no. So it's going to be certain things where people will say no to you. But if your plans and your identity is tied into your plans and you're working it and you're looking the part and you're showing up as the part, then that's pretty much how you play the game. But you play the game your own way, right? And like I said, this reflection point of time where the times where you didn't show up authentic, the times that you didn't show up as yourself, it's like, that frustration. But we're using this blood moon as a space to be pure, as a place to release, and then as a place to like really affirm how we're going to move forward. So with all that being said, it's all good. It's a lot of things that we reflect on over these past few years that we not all the way okay with, but we still have the ability to show up now, right? So blood moon in the second house, I got Elon and Trump and this Tesla as a symbol for this is it's a lot of facades in this picture. It's a lot of things when we look back 10 years from now and we look at this picture, we going to shake our heads and we going to say, "Man, I can't believe that even happened." Right? I can't believe we said these was the richest people in the world. We going to laugh about it. Because here you are with all of your DNA, all of your breath, all of your energy, all of your creativity. And is it being outsourced or are you contributing this to the world? So the fifth house, well, Leo being in the second house, your creative talents, like the second house, when Leo is your second house, like I was just using Beyonce as a metaphor, but that it like Beyonce is in all of these houses. Like at a certain point, if we was like very smart, like as a society, we wouldn't even call it Leo. We would just call it Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? My son is in Beyonce. Like that's what we would do. Because we don't understand. Niggas have never seen a lion, but we have seen a Beyonce. Okay. So that's we can understand Beyonce. So, but anyways, Leo is very much of a inner dynamic that is common sense for a lot of times. When you use your creative dynamics, you make a lot of money. Now, how do you look at this? And this is a real question for people who have Leo in the second house. Are you looking at finances realistically, or are you still trading your time for money? Right? If you're trading your time for money, you're not looking at money realistically, and you have to begin to like, even if you get down to the minute, like what are you doing minute by minute by minute by minute? Because if you can begin to take your creative talents and like, so you can draw, you can sing, you got a talent, you can monetize that talent. Will you be Beyonce level? No, you're not going to be Beyonce level. You're not going to reach superstardom and fame. Your ass might have 100 fans. You might put a Shopify up for your artwork and 10 people might buy that shit. But you know what? That's good. That's a business. That's you in your Beyonce mode. But but you got Leo in your second house. You got these creative talents, and you don't got no business. Trump, he a president. Elon Musk, he worked for Doge. But if you took the presidency away from Trump, he would still have business. If you took Doge away from Musk, he would still have Tesla. He would still have SpaceX. So yeah, you got a good job. Yeah, you they paying you a lot of money. Can you take part of your big paycheck and invest it in your creative pursuits? Huh? You got Leo in the second house. You know you creative, but you ain't you got how much money in your bank account? You got thousands of dollars in your bank account, right? Cause you got money. You got money. All right. Take some of that money that you got and invest in Facebook ads. Go to symphony.com. They'll do your ads for you. And start exposing people to your music. Get fans. Invest in this shit. Get some business. Get you some business behind that shit you got going on. Your creative, you like, I'm just creative and I'm just, eccentric. I'm just talented out here, I'm saying my girl know I'm talented. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters for real. Baby, ain't I talented? Yeah, baby, you talented. You talented for sure. I love your music, baby. See, hood. You don't know what you be talking about. Don't quit your day job, but invest in your creative pursuits. If you get 1,000 fans, if you get 1,000 fans and you do some merchandise, you put out CDs, you sell merch, you put out videos, you get a content team, you put out videos every day, 10 times a day, you shoot videos every day, you get enough content, you get enough motion, you can quit that job eventually. Yeah, you can. You can. I know right now your anxiety saying that you can't and that I'm lying, but you is not creative for no reason, my boy, my girl. Okay? So, who is that? Whoever that's for, I hope that you're able to receive it. And now we got a quick video break. So, instead of asking y'all, I'm going to just do what I know to do to be right as I prep this video real quickly. Mm-mm.
You're my sister. You're mean to me.
Not all the time. Bro, we live in
You're saying
different
this shit because
states.
you're on a podcast.
No, we live in different states. How I mean to you. I mean to you when you're failing your classes, yeah.
I'm not failing.
A D.
It's not failing.
That's a D, it's failing.
F is failing. F
A
is
D is failing.
for you. It is because you're a A+ child.
Right, I am.
Shut the hell up. You're literally doing your career is in only. You can't be talking. You're selling pictures of whatever. You can't be saying shit. All that studying was for what? For what?
Right, I am.
Shut the hell up.
That's crazy. A video of me watching a video. Oh wow, that's too meta. That's too meta. My brain is breaking down. All right, cool. Okay. Shit. I was on YouTube watching a YouTube video of me doing the YouTube, and oh my god. No. I'm back. I'm back. So Leo, Leo, Leo in the third house. All right. So Leo in the third house, communication, mindset, and siblings. So the interesting thing, if Leo is in your third house, is that this girl have a podcast, right, and the OnlyFans, and I'm using her as an example because you're not going to know who this girl is, but most of us have probably seen that video before because she brought her brother on the podcast, and her brother will read her for filth. So when you're dealing with your third house is a very interesting space. It's the space of siblings, and I have two sons, and those two sons is brothers, and they're dynamic, like obviously, right? But I'm just laying it out like this because the ways that a person might be is at the mercy of their sibling. And I know it's crazy because like your sibling is around you more than any other human being ever, right? Especially if y'all grow up in the same house and y'all had the same bed. Y'all very much are creations of one another. So when we get to a space of self when like Leo in the third house just seems very hard to like figure yourself out a lot of times. Like you're not very sure of who you truly are because people have told you these things. And if you had like if you was grew up in the Jacksons, then cool. But most family dynamics is very toxic. Like when you people like your mom's not around. You and your brother and sister, y'all gonna be fighting and talking shit. Like I can't stand you, you old bitch ass nigga, and start beat like all of that is like God's children. You know what I'm saying? Like your siblings don't really can't really judge you, but they do it anyways. And it's like I know this person so much, and what I say it makes it tough is because when you trying to self individualize, when you trying to get into a grips of who you truly are, like this is going to be the hard part, right? Leo in the third house is, you know, I gotta help my family. I gotta be there for my family because they've beaten you down into some form of submission, right? And so it's all different types of dynamics and parameters and things that play out in your life. And this is just one area of your chart, one area of how you're showing up. So when you're thinking about moving forward past this point, because this lunar eclipse does represent a marker before and after, there are a lot of like for you the type of person that you had to answer for your family. You had to answer for your parents. You know, your parents always having to work, and you have to come up with all these particular solutions. And so when you trying to figure it out for yourself, it's like, who am I for real? You know? And so what you will look at, what this full moon will represent, is that that period of time where you didn't even know yourself. What this time represents moving forward is you absolutely knowing yourself outside of the family dynamic, outside of, you know, the trauma and the upbringing, the foundation. And this is probably one of the toughest places for Leo to be because where you really needed support, where you really needed a helping hand, when you really needed a positive suggestion, you didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? You was on the outside looking in. And so where you're then trying to like adjust in this world in a way like, it's like I look at Leo in the third house, like you come to a party, like you invited, like, hey, come to this party. You get to the party and everybody talking, everybody like just having the time of their life, and you just sitting there like, damn, where I fit in at, right? Where, what should I do? You know? And like I said, this is one of the toughest places for Leo to be in the chart. But once again, it's not tough in the space where it's tough, but when you reference the blood moon and how you actually move forward, it gets a lot easier if you can begin to operate and live with your own identity. And so a lot of this blood moon is stepping out of external teachers. A lot of our external teachers have been, if you was grew up an only child, it could be best friend or people that you went to school with, cousins, nephews, just people that are in your close proximity that have an influence on how you relate to yourself. Why is you wearing that? Why is you doing this? You know we don't do that. You such a lame. You such a weirdo. I can't take you nowhere. All of these particular things, right, have a great effect on you right now to this day. You know what I'm saying? So being able to address it is also being another way for you to just specifically move forward outside of it. Because when you look at this little boy, when you watch their podcast, what his sister did, it seems to be it affects him deeply, right? And I'm not saying that that's okay because that's his sister. His sister free to do it OnlyFans. The point of this, from my opinion, which are people I know not they're not gonna agree with, but he as a man can't go through his whole life saying, well, my sister did OnlyFans, so that's why I'm a dick to you. That's why I don't love you. That's why I don't show up for you. That's why I can't be a good husband. My sister did OnlyFans. At a certain point, you're going to look at him like, bro, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? You can't use that for every excuse. So I then bring it back to the individual who has Leo in the third house, and you're showing up in relationships or showing up for your business or for your job, just however, and then when somebody check you on that, like, well, why you ain't loving? Why you ain't effective? Why you ain't showing up on time? You say, well, my sister did OnlyFans, right? Can you tell your supervisor that? Right. So just think about it. So Leo in the fourth house. And I'm using this as a way for people to get a reasonable time frame about the presence of energy and the reality of life, right? When we deal with the fourth house, we deal with the mother. And if Leo is in your fourth house, more or less, you are dealing with a mother wound. A mother wound is the deepest wound because when you're dealing with your mother, you are the most vulnerable. Now, being able to transcend a mother wound makes you the most unstoppable. But once again, if you can make it past the mother wound, because that is where you're the most vulnerable. When you are a baby, you are the most vulnerable, but you're the most, like, if your mom is the one that is with you most of the time, then that is the one that carries the most risk for being around you most of the time. As an active father, I don't agree with that. I don't think that it is a mom's personal responsibility to be with the kids all the time under no level. I think that shit, kids ultimately decide who the fuck they want to be around when they want to be around them. But you should create the space and energy for that to be there, whether it's in the same household or different households. So, oh my God. Speaking of kids, uh, my kids, I'm about to send a text because my kid's going to text me. All right. Speaking of moms, right? My son want to go see Captain America. So Blood Moon in the fourth house is the mom, the home, the family, and the emotional roots. And so if Leo, so when you talk about Leo in your chart, this is your creative. This is this is your ultimate talent, right? So when you look at the houses that Leo is in your chart, what you begin to start to notice is that people either cultivated this within you or they suppressed it within you. So it's very simple with Leo in the fourth house. Did my mom see me for who I am and put me in the positions for me to be the best version of myself? Or did she not do that? Did she not see me at all and told me to do what she wanted me to do, what I was expected of do? And this is not mom, it's just home and family. So it's ultimately mom and dad. Did they see you? Did they say, okay, this is my daughter, this is my son, I see you, right? Or was they concerned with they shit, what they had going on? And more than likely, right, Leo is very Leo is a type of energy that's very rough around the edges. Like it's very much of an energy that's like very wild, right? Very untamed, untrimmed. So when Leo is in a particular house, it shows up crazy. I'm sure if Beyonce was in your living room, you would be like, I mean, I know you Beyonce and everything, but bitch, you kind of crazy, right? I could almost guarantee, I could bet my bottom dollar. So when Leo is in your fourth house, it's like, was she putting you in talent shows or was she making sure you got good grades? You know what I'm saying? Was she teaching you about architecture or was she just saying, you know what I'm saying, clean the room up, giving you chores and shit? And so once again, your fourth house, the way that your parents saw you, the way that your family seen you, oh my God. You then come to a place of self-realization. All I'm saying is don't hate them because they did the best that they could do, right? But it's easy to be like, I hate my family, hood. I can't stand them. They held me back. They did da 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 da. And it's like they did the best that they could. See, what self realization and self actualization teaches you is that people don't even realize inner knowledge. So when you are in Leo energy, like you're the type of person that under discovered yourself, and then you seen your family, and then you want to growl at them like, "Urgh," you wanted to attack them, but don't attack them because they were just a vehicle for you to get here. So when you look at a blood moon, you're just like, okay, everything has happened. It's traumatic. It hurts. It's painful. I wish it never happened. I wish I could go back and change it, but I can't. Oh God, I can't change it. We still have to move forward. We still have to keep going, man. It hurts. Oh, and you be like, my mama didn't hold me when I was a baby. You can't go back into your mama's arms. It is some traumatic shit that's going on in this fourth house. But this is the miracle of the blood moon. This is the miracle of the blood moon. It's a cosmic reset. You know what I'm saying? So you like, ah. And so how this play off, because we've been through this a few times, millennials. Our daddy wasn't there. With the millennial, we our daddy wasn't there. We had to become men, have our own families. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if we ever had trauma, what that make you become? It make you become a father. It make you become an active and loving father because you want to break those patterns. You see the abuse and substance abuse. You see the generational curses. You see the alcoholism. You see it ravaging your family. You see it. And you say, all right, I'm the person that's going to end it. I'm the person that's going to stop it. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's what this blood moon represents. So when we deal with the fifth house, we're also dealing with the 11th house, and we're trying to figure out our roles. The Leo in the fourth house, you are the curse breakers. You are the generational curse breakers. And you know how I know you the generational curse breakers? Because you seen the curse firsthand. You seen it firsthand. And so when we deal with the blood moon rather, we're not looking at it in a space that are we trying to end it. We're trying to evaluate and move forward, right? And move forward with love and compassion and connection and figuring out what our roles are. So, you know, Leo in the third house is tough. Leo in the fourth house, god damn. I'm underestimating how tough this shit actually gets with this Leo energy for real. And this being an anaretic degree with a lunar moon, this is the end of all cycles. So collectively, I want to like my goal is to be a father to my kids, to be an active and present father to my kids, to my children. That's hard to do for some odd reason. Just that desire alone, okay, that's a curse, right? So when we look at families and we look at children, if you a man and you got a kid, that's a very tough and sore spot. You know what I'm saying, for a lot of guys. But you know, you gotta fight. You know what I'm saying? As hard as it is, like we talked about earlier with Leo fighting and winning, you gotta fight for your children. You gotta fight for your children. You just got to. No excuse. So yeah, it's definitely easier said than done. That is definitely true. But we've been through a lot as as the human species. Feel like we can overcome. That's the nature and the spirit of humanity is to overcome. So, little quick video break. We'll get into the fifth house.
Biggest dating red flag.
Is it being on the DL?
You're on the right track. I have my answer.
Is it close enough?
Are you want to guess one more time what would be a red flag for me?
Bad music taste?
Oh, that is a good one.
Because that's one for me.
That is a good one.
Like,
But that's
what
not
do you
what I
mean
put.
you don't listen to Michael Jackson? But okay.
Okay. This is a huge red flag for me.
All right. You know what's so crazy? I was going to say men. I was going to say men.
Like, I mean, strike one. You're mad.
Yeah.
You're heterosexual.
Yeah.
So, Blood Moon in the fifth house is where I have Dochi at. Ashe. Ashe. Blood Moon in the fifth house. This is where you are creative over create, like you're super creative. And so a lot of Leo and creativity is a fight. So what do I mean by this? If you ever wanted to develop a talent and you just picked up the microphone and just started rapping, more or less that shit was going to be ass. If you picked up the mic and just started singing, more or less that shit's going to be ass. If you wanted to be creative, you had to fight for it. A very small percentage, I would say a none percentage, very, it's not even worth talking about the percentage of people who just pick up shit and just do it effortlessly great the first time they do it. But there are millions of creatives that have fought for that which God have given them. So it could be one of two things. Have you fought for it or are you still waiting for it? Leo in the fifth house. Or if you already fought for it, okay, you fought for it and you won. Now, have you fought for it? Are you bitter because you fought for it? Or do you understand? So the last time we did this, we did Aquarius through the houses, and I had Aquarius in my fifth house. But I didn't realize it, and I did Prince as representing Aquarius in the fifth house. And that's when it like literally hit me like, damn, I'm creative. But mind you, I be working and doing all this shit. I don't be making music. I don't be writing songs. But ever since I did that Aquarius video, I was just back to making beats and making songs. Like I still work. I still got shit going on, but I have been like making music again because I've made mad music. I know that like making music is I know that I'm creative, right? I know that, but it's just I just be trying to make a dollar. You know what I'm saying? I be just trying to make some money. So the point of it is that the fifth house, that talent is joy. If y'all ever seen that part in the movie Soul, where he's like creating and he's going deep within himself into the collective unconscious and pulling out that knowing, like it's a knowing, like when you hear a beat, like, this shit hard, or you listen to music and you like, this song is amazing. That's from God. That's the ability to create and to make people dance or feel something or to draw. And like Chris, he'll paint something and people will just be like, man, like he painted that Candy Man. And it just like the mural in Virginia is just like it's awe inspiring. But that to me is joy. Right? That is the joy. When I look at Dochi, when she performing, like this not her first time. Like I like Dochi. Dochi had that song back in the days. What it is, ho? What's up? Like that's like everybody know that song. Like that's a big hit. But the difference between Dochi then and Dochi now, in my personal opinion, is the joy. So if Leo is in your fifth house, of course you're creative. Of course you have that ability to be creative, but are you tapped in? Meaning that are you in the space of joy and creation at the same time? Because a lot of times when we look at life and people is just working so hard, doing what they gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Like they forget even about this, the fact that they are creative. And part of this creativity, part of this development is just such an identity to you. So not only does it bring people to you, like a lot of it, like you're not even going to find your lover for real. You're not even going to even make money for real till you unlock this side of yourself, because it's just such a part of you. So but the irony, you might have Leo in the fifth house, and you got a job to make money, and you want a dating site to find a man, and you ain't doing no self cultivation work. You do the self cultivation work, you make the money, and you find the romance that you need because you showing up as your authentic, talented, creative self. So, Blood Moon in the sixth house. This was very interesting as my computer starts to glitch. I don't know if y'all know who Big Jai is. He got a lot of YouTube videos. He's like a heavy set dude, like big dude for real. I just seen recently he lost like 60 pounds, like real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I just use this as an example to explain Leo in the sixth house, where your sixth house is all about your health, right? Uranus tied into the sixth house, like this would make me very passionate about charts when somebody close to me had transitioned, and when I looked at their transit chart, they had Uranus in their sixth house. Mind you, they was very young. So I started to pay attention to Uranus, and then also the sixth house, which is your planet of health, your your house of service, but also like what you do every day. So Leo, be it in the sixth house, is like this is your fitness trainers. And when you think about fitness trainers, what gets it a lot of times fucked up is that a person have excellent genetics, never been fat a day in their life, but want to help you lose weight. Get what I'm saying? Like it sound good, but really, it's not really catching. It's not getting to the crux of the thing, right? You don't really fully understand what I'm going through. So the blood moon in the sixth house is like health that was bad that becomes good, that you can then use it as a service. So once again, you might not see yourself as a fitness trainer because you weigh 275 pounds, but we're thinking about it from the space of you getting your shit together. And then your friends and family say, Jermaine, you lost 60 pounds in 6 months. How'd you do it? Everybody in your family is eating pork rinds and pig toes and pig feet and chitlins and things of that nature. They all 350 plus. But you, Leo in the sixth house, you just start drinking a herbal diet, changing your health habits, and you lose the weight. Now you become to look at people become to look at you as a fitness expert. Well, you are a fitness expert. You more of a fitness expert than a fitness expert because you got the knowledge. And when you look at the sixth house, which is connected to family connected to genetics, and you could be a person that have tried all of the diets, watched all of the YouTube videos, and still struggle with health because, in reference to your genetics, the person that's on there talking, he talking, but he not talking to your genetic code. So if you're able to unlock some things, especially if you're a black man, black woman, over 40, healthy, you're a fitness trainer, you're a fitness expert, right? And if you're Leo in the sixth house and your health is all out of whack, it's time for you to get that under control in 2025, right? That's why I've been telling people, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The time's a ticking, right? Go ahead, go to KFC, churches, wherever you go and get you a Philly cheese steak. This is it. Get you some damn chitlins. Go get you two value meals. Do what you gotta do. Times is motherfucking ticking. That blood moon strike 12. All right, we going on a diet. Right? We done. It stops now. You working 2 hour, you Leo in your sixth house, and you working double shifts, and you ain't got double the money. You got to start prioritizing your health, your stress, all of that, because ultimately, the sixth house and the 12th house, it does not seem as important of structures in the grand scheme of things, but it is the ultimate of structures. The sixth and the 12th house is your ultimate of ultimates. It's the reason why. And a lot of people just doing shit. They might be making money and living at this place and doing this. They don't even know why, right? Because the sixth house, especially when we talk about medical astrology, this is the start of knowledge of self. So you might be confused, you overweight, and you like, damn, I ain't got no love in my life. I ain't got no money. You lose that weight. You lose that motherfucking weight. One's in the chat. Is this too real for y'all or not? Let me know. If it's too real, I'll shut up. You talking about ain't no love in your life, lose that weight. And tell me you having a hard time with attracting love in your life. Lose that weight and tell me you having a hard time with attracting money in your life. Your identity is so much tied up into how you take care of yourself. And how you take care of yourself is how you going to project yourself out into the world. This world crazy. Like, you got to actually start to think. Like, being obese and overweight is not a normal human experience. That's not some normal shit that humans just be doing. You don't see a fat fox running around. You never seen it for real. Highly domesticated animals. You don't see fat wild animals. It's a result of something. So we're looking at it from a crazy perspective. If you look at Leo in the sixth house, and your health is either A1 or struggling. If it's A1, your sixth and 12th house is to help other people along fitness. Listen, ain't nothing going on in this motherfucking world but fitness. You shitting me? Ain't nothing else going on when you go to the rich neighborhood. What you gonna see when you go to the rich neighborhood? You gonna see people jogging. Do niggas jog in the hood? No, they don't. They don't jog in the hood. Is that one little boy getting ready for football? Rest of us is in our cars. We looking at little Lamar like, you gonna make it, Lamar. He keep jogging. He keep going the way he going. He gonna make it. Our ass like, what we eating tonight? You want to get them ribs? You know that Frankie Chicken's just open. All right, give me 4 wings, extra sauce. Ain't nothing going on but fitness. Like, fitness is it. That's life, right? Your health, what the fuck? Okay, take your health away. Go ahead. Just take it away. You don't need it. You don't need that shit. So your health is good. So your sixth house is square, is good. So your 12th house is then balanced by your sixth house, helping people get fit, helping people get healthy. What does that look like? They got the neighborhood bike rides, they got nature park trails. You can go to a gym, you can start a Zumba class, a Roomba class. It's Leo energy. What you do to lose weight? One's in the chat. One's in the chat. What I'm saying is making sense because I feel like I can be sounding crazy at certain times. And this is a hard, like a lot of these is codes that I gotta like unlock and bring to the people. So if I'm unlocking a code, this shit is abstract to me. If it makes sense to me. It don't mean that it makes sense to you. So let me know if what I'm saying is making sense. Hey, how you lose that weight? How you lose that weight, Romello? Niggas want to know. Hey, man, you been on that vegan shit, man. What's that about, man? What you be eating though, for real? Like, you don't eat no meat? One's in the chat. One's in the chat. Nigga be like, so you don't eat no meat at all? Type shit. Like, how that work though? Like, no meat, bruh? Bruh, tell me about it, bruh. Niggas is healthy, talking about it's more to life than health. Shit in me.
So if you and your man make the same amount of money, right? But only your man is the one that paying all the bills. How you ever gonna save up to like buy a house or buy a business? Cause he's never gonna be able to afford to. So it's like certain things is like a joint thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a work together.
Cardi, that's too crazy of a quote, man. One's in the chat if y'all can hear Cardi taking niggas to church. It ain't even Sunday. Listen to what she said, man. Listen to what she said, man.
So if you and your man make the same amount of money, right? But only your man is the one that paying all the bills. How you ever gonna save up to like buy a house or buy a business? Cause he's never gonna be able to afford to. So it's like certain things is like a joint thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a work together. But I just be feeling like sometimes people, like the internet, really be having people f***ed up from like real reality type shit. So it's like, all right. So your mom and dad used to work every single day, right? So your mom and dad used to work every single day, so your mom could save her money and buy personal. That's not how it works. It's either your mom was in the house cooking and cleaning every day, your dad was working, or they was both working to pay both the bills. Like y'all be acting like y'all don't know what the that is like. Like, come on.
Come on, Cardi. You ain't said nothing but the facts. They ain't make this one go viral. Hold on, I'm trying to change the goddamn slide. They won't even let me. They want me to stay on this topic, huh? Let me figure out how to do this. Everything wanna be glitchy, man. Give me a second.
So if you and your man make the same amount.
Come on, Elon, man. I ain't do it to you. Wasn't me, man. Wasn't me. Hold on, I know that. I got a way to get out of this. All right, so we're on Leo in the seventh house. There we go. God damn it. So Blood Moon in the seventh house, man. You know, Leo is in the seventh house. So we got Tiana Taylor and Imam Shumpert, where the divorce was just finalized yesterday. The divorce was finalized yesterday. And so what we have is Tiana Taylor, which is a performer, Iman Shumpert. For some reason, I get on YouTube, my algorithm just started playing Iman Shumpert rapping videos. Like I didn't even know he was a rapper. Bro got mad songs. So he's a performer, she's a performer. Are y'all with me? They got a divorce finalized on the blood moon, guys. Let's just say, let's all say it together. Under ritual. Okay. Cause you know, man, I don't know the inner dynamics of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And it's all legally figured out now, but if I'm lying, I just be lying. But I hate to see beautiful black families break up, bruh. If I'm wrong for saying that, Jesus strike me down. You know what I'm saying? You already glitching my computer. You know what I'm saying? Like strike me down, man. I hate seeing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I wish I'd be so into it, like, man, girl, you can have multiple niggas if that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you want multiples, you can have it. Right? Cause Imam, he gonna have multiples. It's all a thing in this shit. Everybody is breaking up because of infidelity and all of this. But if Leo is in your seventh house, and whenever Ice Cube and Master P come on, I'm a hoe. I'm a hoe. You start to wanting to twerk a little bit. You need to be honest with yourself in the paradigm of relationships. So this is a space where you enter into unions like, oh man. Cause you get deep, y'all get married and y'all be making millions of dollars and all of this type of shit, and then what? When y'all divorce, when y'all separated. This is just unfortunate for all parties involved, especially for Iman. You know what I'm saying? He gotta spend that check. You know, feel me? And it's like it's one or two ways. I was thinking about it in one or two ways. Either you go into it already knowing what the play is, which is crazy, or it just happened the way it happened, and it ain't nothing you can do. My third solution for Leo in the seventh house is grow the fuck up and have a conversation, because they gonna take your ass to the cleaners. I'm at the point where it'll be like, what you want? All right, you got it. And I know for guys, they be like, this is a fight. I'm gonna take her to court. I'm gonna fight. All right, they gonna mollywop your goofy ass while you fighting. That's what they gonna do. And you be like, man, it shouldn't be like this. Men's rights. Boy, I oughta. It's a way that you just gotta look yourself in the mirror a lot of times. And that ego and that pride, but like, man, you can't come with me on this ride, bruh. Because once again, you're gonna have the conversation, and the conversation is going to trigger your pride, trigger your ego, and you knew you was a hoe from the beginning. You knew you wasn't honest from the beginning. You knew it was unhealthy from the beginning. And it's like, man, this is all one sided. But see, when Leo is in the fourth house and you had the mother wound, you wasn't crying for the daddy, wasn't you? You was, mama, you did it, mama, mama. It was all your fault. I was the most vulnerable. I got this mother wound. He was like, yeah, hood, talk about that shit, man. See Leo in the seventh house, niggas be like, can't stand my baby mom, man. Why you can't stand yourself though? Why you can't stand your inability to have a cooperative union though? You are the leader, right? If a general lead his army into a battlefield and the battalion lose, are they going to credit? Are they going to be mad at the soldiers? Or are they going to be mad at the general? Why you ain't lead your troops, general? So when it says redefine how you relate to others, that's what it's talking about. And when we talk about a blood moon in the realms of relationships, oh yeah, we could afford some cosmic resets for these kids' sake. For the kids' sake, we can afford some cosmic resets, bringing conversations to the table. Like, let's have the conversation. So, when you look at the eighth house and the seventh house, which is ironic, you will see that. Give me 1 second. You will see that Tiana Taylor is on both sides of the spectrum. Because you can divorce your husband and you can marry or be with another man and it all be cool in the space of Kundalini. Because your life ain't over. Her life ain't over because she mad at you. You got to have a whole open perspective, right? So this is why I say I'm willing to open it up for women having, I wouldn't say multiple sex partners. I'm just saying, like, you can have a different sex partner. Some dudes wouldn't be okay with that. I know some dudes would be okay with it. Some dudes will still have sex with their baby mom, even though she got a man at home. It's not gross. It's just what's happening out here. So I'm saying, for the family's sake, why are we, as a society and a culture, forcing monogamy down each other's throats and we ain't seeing that it's working? So you will see the Leo principle play out where Tiana Taylor will show up for a divorce settlement and take photo ops with the dude from the Lion King. Lion King, ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? In reference to Leo energy, I just made that connection right here. Just the dude Aaron Pierre from the Lion King that she's dating now. And I'm saying that this is good. When I posted this picture up and I made that connection, I said, "Oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be." Especially for Tiana Taylor. I mean, it's Tiana Taylor. Like, what else can I say? What can a man say to Tiana Taylor? Oh no, you can't do that. I don't even think that can happen. So when you so let's look at something real quick because I want us to get the full visual, and I want y'all to put a one in the chat if y'all understand the visual for Leo energy. I'm gonna pull the lust. Nah, I'm gonna do the strength. I'm gonna go old school with it, right or wait. I'm gonna pull up the strength tarot card. Okay. And I want y'all to say one in the chat if y'all can understand the power of raising your kundalini in reference to being a goddess in this paradigm. This is the card that rules Leo energy, right? It's a woman that is petting a lion like it's a dog. Right? It's a lion that's petting it like it's just a puppy. What this represents is when a woman raises their kundalini and is able to control the animalistic natures around her. And it's like when you look at this particular image of this goddess with this lion, this is the same image. Because I don't know. I never seen Lion King. I just know that the girls is going crazy over Aaron Pierre. So this is the image of the strength card, the Leo card that rules Leo. And this is Tiana Taylor with I think he plays Mufasa. Ain't that the dude that be like, it's Mufasa. It's Mufasa. So if Leo is in your eighth house or bordering your seventh and eighth house, you are an interesting species of a person. And an interesting thing about like understanding particular archetypes with energies is like, well, they're trying to do what she's doing, but they can't do what she does. You embody that, right? Tiana Taylor embodies y'all niggas can't do the things that I can do. And so that's why, back to my original point, you want to get to know the woman that you're in front of. You want to really get to know her and see what she into and what she like. Because part of this energy is where you enter in this relationship paradigm like you a lion, like you the king of the jungle, and now she got you. Now look at you. You at her mercy. And this is the true strength of Kundalini. So where would this person be at in reference to the blood moon? They would not be feeling, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like a lion. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't feel this energy. And that's cool. But this blood moon is a transformative experience for you. This is a point in time in your life where you are making the changes that are going to be so profound, right? And it's like usually centered in somebody calling you, like people like judging you, basically. They can call you whatever they want to call you, but they're more or less judging you, berating you, chastising you. And this whole time, like, this is a cosmic reset point. So you can then understand your energy, understand your beauty, and go to a bar. You can go. You don't even gotta move. I would say go to a different city, but go to a different bar. Go to a different place. You know what I'm saying? What you'll notice is people look at you like they seen a ghost. They see your beauty, they see your energy, and they ain't about to ask you your history. So if they not gonna ask you about it, why you gonna hold on to it? Stop basing your life on other people and base your life on who you are energetically. Man, your energy so strong and so powerful. It's almost crazy to just be thinking about a lot of times. Like, why would you even think negative of yourself? So let this blood moon transform you. Like, figure it, like, set it to bed, set it to rest, and start taking care of yourself. Start putting forth that energy, that sexiness, that attractiveness. Start putting yourself in places, in spaces. If it's some truth to connecting with this person or going on a date with this person, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Don't say, man, I ain't going on no dates no more because those last 5 dates that I've been on was horrible. If you still want to go out and enjoy yourself, do that. Don't make the past be the thing that's creating your future. And that goes for any house, but more or less like Leo in the eighth house, your power is so sensational and so powerful that you just need to get over yourself and just figure out what game you want to play. How do you want your life to be? Because these people can't tell you shit. A lot of times they just envious. Most of the times, 100% of the times, they just envious. Like any critique of Tiana Taylor for real, even though she might not do the things that I would want her to do, but who the fuck am I, right? If you hate on Tiana Taylor, you a hater. You a hater. She can sing, she can dance, she can act, she's beautiful, she makes good music. Like, I mean, I don't know her personally, but who does know her personally? From the observatory eye, and this is what I'm talking about if you have Leo in your eighth house. Like, people don't know the fuck. They don't know you for real. They'll never know you. What the fuck? They not about to come to your house. Ain't nobody been in your house. Your mother have not even been to your house. Your fucking mom talking about I'm so worried about how they look at me. They don't even know you. So if they have an opinion for real, it's just hate. And that hate is just jealousy and envy and projection on how damn they wish they could be in your shoes. Cause when I say every woman was going crazy over this nigga at a point in time, and I'm not saying every woman, but just in general, he was this that nigga on the internet. You know, dudes we don't be knowing or be caring, but for the dudes, it's like a lot of girls was going crazy over this dude, and probably still is. And Tiana Taylor bagged them for real. Like that's a bag. Most girls don't just be bagging niggas for real. That just shows how impressive Tiana Taylor is as an individual. Like I hate that she took my man to the cleaners, but I gotta respect game. Like this girl is goddamn superhuman, man. Like what the hell? No flaws. So let's get to the next. So when we go through ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th, we're getting highly political. So Leo, so when you look at Leo, it's like very traumatic. Especially if you like know a Leo that's like working at a factory or something. This nigga is like an alcoholic, smoke mad weed, like he's real emotional. You know what I'm saying? He's just in his fiery bag, like he just You know what I'm saying? Like because ultimately, when we look at Kundalini and we look at our ability to like really self teach and self actualize, it would be like if we was caterpillars, right? But we all Leo is the ability to turn into a butterfly. So if you had Sun in Leo, you was guaranteed to be a butterfly rather. But you didn't never do nothing to become that butterfly. You the saddest nigga in the house, right? So if you got a Leo child and they're not self actualized, like they're not into nothing, they just they might do everything that your other kids do, but they just more sadder than your other kids is because they have a purpose. And if they're not working towards that purpose, the way that our life goes is that mental health trauma is not like what I've learned through self education. I would ask, why is there trauma? Why is there mental health? And the spirits would say, how else is we going to awaken you? How else can alert you? So we give you everything and you don't appreciate it. We take it away from you and you hate us. There's no in between with you. So we're trying to awaken you through the trauma. We're trying to awaken you through the mental health. We're trying to awaken you through the insomnia. We're trying to awaken you through the anxiety. We're trying to shake you up. You have a purpose. So everybody has Leo in their chart. Everybody has Kundalini in their chart. But for some of us, when we talk, if Leo is in your ninth, 10th, 11th, or 12th house, your Leo is more of a government secret agent, federal agent, um, power to the people, black people need to stick together, that type of shit. International, you travel more, you know more about the world than the average Joe, you know more about the universe than the average Joe, but ultimately, are you fighting for oppression or are you fighting for revolution? So Leo in the ninth, 10th, and 11th and 12th house, it gets way more intense. You know, you Tiana Taylor, you fucking people, you having multiple relationships, and then you go into the ninth house and you're like, all right, we gotta save the world, nigga. What's up? We need some schematics ASAP. What's going on? This asteroid coming now. What's up? You got any plans? Nothing? Come on, man. So if the blood moon is in the ninth house and you're just like, yeah, Leo's in my ninth house, but I just got a job, at Delta. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a bag boy, or I'm just a customer service rep. Hood, I ain't on nothing. All right, this is the point where you transform and you start like Kundalini is Beyonce in each house, it's Kundalini in each house. We all got some Beyonce in us somewhere. Y'all need to stop playing with yourselves. Y'all need to get real about this shit. We all got Beyonce somewhere in us somewhere. So Beyonce in the ninth house or Kundalini in the ninth house. We all got Kundalini, meaning that we all have the ability to transcend any obstacle through intuition. Intuition. So, damn, what is this dude's name? It's a book called The Master Key. Huge book, 1,000 pages. At the end of it, if you read it, it's only talking about your motherfucking self. That you are the master key. Okay? So basically, with the blood moon being in the ninth house in this United States agency stuff going on, I'm just using this as a symbol to say you are the type of person that can get loans, grants, housing, assistance, visas. Like you could be a person that traveled out the country. You know how hard that is for some people. It's hard for people, right? Creating like it's a big world out here. earlier I was talking about how like it's a reality that when you raise Kundalini, you deal with the reality. You don't deal with what you think. You don't deal about what you feel because you could be thinking all types of shit and never like say it's a forest. You say, man, I don't really like the forest. I think it's going to be bugs there. But your ass ain't never been to the forest. How the fuck do you know? How do you know? You don't know. So most people say, man, I'm not going to the forest. I think it's going to be bad. I feel it's going to be bad, so I'm not going to go. When you look at the ninth house and you talk about either you are the, so we can look at it from two different perspectives. Either you are that person that have traveled the world. Leo is like, what does this matter? What is the purpose of your life? So who are you helping? Who are you teaching? Who are you teaching how to travel across the country? Who are you traveling with? You just traveling by yourself? That sounds fun. It is fun, hood. You need to okay, I get it, but if you done did it, who are you assisted? We are tribal people. We don't live in a vacuum. So the hard parts about this conversation is, well, I'm taking care of me. I'm good. I'm good, hood. So that's all that matters. I'm good. I'm good. It don't matter. Like I understand being good. Like I trust me, I understand being good. But me being good does not mean that like I can just abandon my post. What is your role in the so the fifth house and the 11th house is connected, which would be your ninth house. So what is your role in the revolution? I'm only speaking to the people that are wanting to take part in the revolution because if you don't want to take part in the revolution, you by proxy just are part of the oppression, whether you know it or not. What is your role in the revolution? Teaching people how to travel. Well, hood, Leo's in my ninth house. I ain't never traveled. I ain't never went out the country before. Do you want to? Yeah, I want to. I think about it every day, hood. We'll do it. And then when we are back in the same space in August, hopefully you got a passport. Hopefully you done did something outside of the regular mundane. Go to work, come home. Or go to work and come home. Because going to work and coming home is not Kundalini. Go to work or come home. Now, you can raise Kundalini and still go to work and come home, but in the space of raising Kundalini, you do have an outlook. You do have an intention. You do have something that you are working towards. So, Blood Moon in the 10th house, where I have Dick Gregory. When you think about Dick Gregory, he is a actor, a comedian, one of the first black comedians to ever like really do the thing that we call like Cat Williams and Eddie Murphy and all of that. Like he is the like it's other comedians before and after him, but Dick Gregory is the like model of black man. We talk about career, we talk about life and legacy. And so him, um another another person transition that I documented, I can't think of it. Oh, Roy Ayers. Dick Gregory died when he was 84 years old, and Roy Ayers died when he was 84 years old. Uranus takes 84 years to make an orbit. So when you look at Roy Ayers, when you listen to Roy Ayers' music, when you listen to Dick Gregory lectures, you're looking at Uranus figures. And the reason that I bring up Uranus is because the full moon is going to create a wedge aspect pattern with Uranus. Okay, so when we look at Dick Gregory, he was an awakener of black people, melanated people, people who would rather go to work and come home. He gave them stuff to think about. And he was just a regular guy at the end of the day. But when you look at his legacy, when you look at his career, he exemplified that there are no limits, just the limits that you put on yourself. So if Leo is in your 10th house, if you just a regular come home, go to work ass person, you really need to begin to look in the mirror and figure out, are you doing a thing that is represented of your kundalini? Are you doing a thing? God gave you a talent. Are you using that talent? Like, are you? So this is very, very serious placements. And you're saying, well, Hood Mystic, what do you mean this is a very serious placement? Like, how could it be a very serious placement? Like, what do you mean by that? Well, are there serious people in the world? Yes. Well, their seriousness is based upon the facts that there are astrological components to their chart. And because there are astrological components to their chart, there could be, to the corniest, lamest person can have Leo in his 10th house, to the most prestigious person can have Leo in the 10th house. But you're going to have to be able to suss it out and parse it out. Because which was once probably a broke, begging ass, loser ass person could then transform into a person that changes the lives of their whole entire family. So when you look at a blood moon, you can look at yourself and say, do I exemplify the person that I want to be as far as my career is? Like, am I moving in my full unlimited bliss, or am I just out of pocket right now? Am I just like not even, do I not even care? Am I just trying to just make money and go home? And is my soul okay with that? Is my ancestors okay with that? Is all that have created me okay with that? And if they okay with that, it's okay. But if you are meant to do more, this is the part of the story, right? This is the before and after for you. This is where you begin to take that creative talent and you begin to really do something with it. Like you really start to build legacy. And so how that looks for you, of course, is going to be different for each and every person. But if Leo is in your 10th house, you do have the full and utter capability to be great. And there is nobody blocking you but you, right? So blood moon in the 11th house. What I have is a screenshot of an article, and the article starts off with fear of a black messiah, the FBI's campaign to legitimate Dr. Martin Luther King. And I actually had a video. I don't even know. It must have deleted. Maybe it's after this one. Hold on. Oh yeah. So the 11th, if y'all ever hear me talk about houses, the seventh and the eighth house have a very close relationship because that's marriage and sex. Okay? Marriage and sex, even though they're separate, they can be the same thing. The 11th and the 12th house are community and spiritual purpose. So the 11th and the 12th house are closely related. So this is happening specifically, this blood moon is right on the cusp of my 11th and 12th house. right? So now I don't feel like super important a lot of the times. I swear I don't. So for those of the people who share this placement with me, either the 11th or the 12th house, and you do your due diligence, let me know if you feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you knew that you were born with a purpose, you knew that there were people that wanted to hear you, but this is just one area of the house, so you have to go through your own struggles. You have your own ups and downs, but you're also having to fight and contend with this grand scheme of separation of you and like just living a normal life. Because when you talk about social engineering, you might not have the right clothing. You might not say the right words. You might not just know a lot of things to whereas you might be isolated. So Leo in the 11th house, of course you want to have a friendship group. Of course you want to have a lot of things going on. But hold on one second. So you can start off with being alone. And then all of a sudden you got all of these people that's like not saying that they support you or they looking at you. It could just be customers. It could be a lot of different things. But what's really happening is that it's spiritual. You are a messianic figure. And there are more than one messianic figure. There are multiple messianic figures. Even the term Messiah refers to a race, right? So this is very important if this lunar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. Because what you are going to have to start to realize is that you are a leader and you need to find your group and your tribe and you need to show up. Because even though there were a lot of programs that did what they were supposed to do, where it came to like the crack, the COINTELPRO, the redlining, all of these programs and institutions were to suppress black people. And we can bear witness to Jim Crow and slavery. We know these things are real. But when we come to the blood moon, we are having a critical reset point. And so all of that shit is being wiped off the table. So all this really means is that you need to get up off your ass and get into your proper position. It don't mean that, you're going to get $1 million tomorrow or people just going to automatically just tap in with you. But there are so many programs, so much real shit that you will see that went into the suppression of you and me, that when this stuff stops happening, you got to just understand who you are. And then the anxiety and the mental angst of, man, what if this happened? What if that happened? We got to get so clear with our viewpoint for the future because that's what makes us psychic. That's what makes us spiritual. And when we're able to just fully understand our vision for society moving forward, just in our own little space, in our own little niche, we'll be able to move forward. There are no more laws and practices that are trying to stop you and suppress you. So what this blood moon represents is a reset point and how you show up for the collective. It's a lot of shit behind the scenes. They don't want you to do nothing. They don't want you to think that you got a family, that people love you, they just want you to be isolated and alone, but that's not the nature of the game. The nature of the game is going to bring you abundance of situations and occurrences with people that are going to love you and sow into you and build you up and uplift you. Especially when you understand Leo is raising Kundalini. So, what is the work in all of these houses? The work in all of these houses is to cultivate, self actualize, raise Kundalini. So, therefore, when you are faced with a lion, this metaphor, so the metaphor would show up in this space, whereas you, Leo, is in your 11th house, and you cultivate your Kundalini, and that lion is the government. Is wars and manipulation and all types of black ops, CIA, FBI, probes, and you would never even know how important you are until you raise Kundalini, and then all of this stuff starts to come out. But you are on top of it because you're much stronger than the government. You are the government. The issue with all of these houses, if you struggle with any of these houses, is because you do not self-actualize. There are no external teachers that's going to teach you how to whoop a lion's ass. That's the course online that you need to sign up for. But you're never going to find it because nobody knows how to whoop a lion's ass. In order to develop the strength necessary to overpower a lion, it comes from within you.
It was uncovered during our trial in the 70s that the COINTELPRO program targeted black liberation organizations and leaders. And they specifically named targets of Dr. King, Stokely Carmichael, Rap Brown, Elijah Muhammad, and pointed to Malcolm X as well. And as the Panthers rose and became powerful, first in Oakland and later in Chicago, as you can see from the clip, what a charismatic young leader at 21 Fred Hampton was. Hoover and his people focused on the Black Panther Party, and specifically in Chicago on Fred Hampton. They had an informant in the Black Panther Party by the name of William O'Neill. He sketched out a floor plan that showed where Hampton would be sleeping. They went to the apartment. They supplied that floor plan to the police. The FBI did. They went to the apartment in the early morning hours, and Fred was asleep. It appeared that he had been drugged by O'Neill or some other agent, and he was murdered in his bed. Over the years, we uncovered documents that showed this floor plan. That was all covered up as well. It showed that the FBI took credit for this raid as part of its COINTELPRO program, and it showed even that O'Neill, after the raid, was given by Hoover and the people in Chicago a $300 bonus, what we later called the 30 pieces of silver for the informant O'Neill for setting up the raid. So he was receiving from Hoover a bonus for the success of the raid. At the same time, he was serving as pallbearer in Fred Hampton's funeral.
Glenn Taylor, you pursued this case civilly for 13 years. What came out of it?
Well, a lot of what I've just mentioned came out of it. The narrative shifted over the years thanks to the community, thanks to the Panthers, and thanks to the lawsuit that we filed. And as you could hear from the clip, the position that the police took, and they thought they were going to get away with scot-free, was that this was a shootout, that these were vicious Black Panthers, all of that. Well, because we and the Panthers went to that apartment, we were able to show that it was a shoot-in. We were able to change the narrative to the fact that it was an unjustified and violent shoot-in by the police. But over the years, as we were able to join the FBI in the case, we were able to uncover these FBI documents that showed it was not just a murder, it was not not just a shoot-in, but it was an assassination. It was a political assassination straight from Washington and the FBI.
So I want you to. I just want to ask people why. Why do all of that? A 21-year-old man, just a guy figuring himself out. I know 21-year-old people that they don't be really knowing for real. Like they're going to change a lot over time. So why take him out? Why why is the government so concerned with young black people? Why is the music so much into programming them and having them think a certain type of way? Because of who we are and what we represent at a spiritual level, at a cosmic level. There is a reason that when you deal with these institutions and these places and spaces, they're not telling you about a blood moon lunar eclipse. Because that blood is literally on their hands. And the reason that I've never done a video for this long before, because one, my son is in Leo, and this moon takes place in my 11th and 12th house. I don't do these with my sign. Like, even though I know that, I didn't really think about it until I'm going through the actual slideshow. Because I'm really just in the space of the download and the information and really just connecting the dots that I begin to see it and say, oh, because this is the same blood moon that these people use to trick our ancestors, and they would use it again to trick us now. But now the trick is on them because we can take the energy. It don't take all of us. It take very few of us who know our roles that are willing. So the fifth house also works well with the 11th house. So you could be the most talented person, the most creative person, but you are socially awkward. You don't know how to connect to people. You don't know how to show up. You don't, like we stated earlier, people will more likely deprioritize you because of who you are. Yes, I would love to kick it with you, Tay, but I gotta go here first, right? That's an excellent idea, Brandon. But let's let me go do a million and one things, and then we'll come back to that. When we deal with the 11th house in reference to the seventh house or any social organization you can think of, the 11th house is the priority. So when you look at Fred Hampton and you look at the freedom fighters, the people who took race seriously, and if it wasn't for these people fighting, Leo is a fight. Okay? If black people did not fight in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, we would not be sitting here having this conversation. We would be somewhere else doing something different. And people have different opinions on if that would be for better or for worse. But the facts are, black people have been fighting for a very, very long time in this country. And if you don't see that, you are very dense and very ignorant. If Leo is in your 12th house or in your 11th house, that fight is in your DNA. And although you go through your fights and your struggles and your plights, it will all make sense when people prioritize you. If when people prioritize you, when people don't won't put you fifth on the list, when you are the first thing that a person thinks about in the morning. Hey, did you get those schematics? Yeah, I got them. Are you ready to execute on that? Yes. You want to meet out? You want to meet on Zoom or you want to meet on the Slack? How you want to do this? You've been dealing in a world where you're supposed to make plans with somebody and they get to you when they feel like getting to you. One's in the chat. You done made plans with somebody. You done made plans with somebody. Tuesday come around. Hey, are you still going? You know they ain't gonna do it because they ain't say nothing on Monday. They went ghost on you on Monday. Tuesday come around. Hey, we still gonna do that thing we talked about? Yeah, man. I figured out something else to do. Don't take it personal, but understand your energy. Raise Kundalini, and if it's somebody in your life that prioritize you, lock in. Don't deprioritize somebody that prioritizes you. That's crazy. You got a mission, and it's easy to figure out who's a part of that mission and who's not a part of that mission. This mission is unfolding, and it's people, it's families that have been broken. It's all types of shit that have been happening in reference to this mission. Understand who you are, because it could be a Tiana Taylor where it'd be like, "Oh, you are a home wrecker. What you want me to do? Go into a box and curl up and die or something? Call it whatever. Oh, you should have never done that." Like, forgiving yourself, so powerful. Letting go, so powerful. It's like everything just coincides and merges with people. So if Leo is in your 12th house, man, everything in reference from the ninth, 10th, and 11th, it culminates in you. So when you talk about a leader, what is a leader that can't fight? Right? You a leader, but you can't multiply 10 plus 2. You stupid. You can't be a stupid leader. You can't be a weak leader. You can't have, so you a leader, but you can't communicate. When you everything, you getting held accountable for everything. And you know why? Because this shit is not even real. That's why. You creating a situation in a world where your ass could be oppressed. Where your ass could, you a god, and you create a reality where women don't even like you. Yeah, black men, women don't, blah, blah, blah. You create a world where you're not even in prosperity. You don't even know where your next dollar coming from. You created that. You create based upon anxiety. You create based upon fear, and you create you mesh well with niggas who deprioritize your ass. I guess they ain't gonna come. It's okay. We alive today, and the thing about being alive today, you can look up in the sky, and you that same kid that looked up in the sky as a little boy, as a little girl, right? You still that same entity and energy. It's like we all bear witness to a new beginning of consciousness. And sometimes this happens so much we don't even realize it. But if you are conscious, you will be aware that this is a cosmic reset point. This is a space where you can become precise at how you're going to live your life. You're going to play this game and experience this game like you want to experience it. And it hasn't happened yet, but it don't mean that it's not going to happen. And so as the leaders, as the true pinnacles of society, what do you see for us? What do you see? What how will you implement that? It's like a lot on your table, a lot on your plate, but it's like ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th houses. Like I stated earlier, you think everything is cool. You at the club, and then you like, all right, we need government order. We need somebody to organize. We need structure. We need discipline. You like, damn, I can't party? No. The party is over. Like right now, motherfucking DJs is pulling plugs out. The music is shutting down. Nobody is dancing. We all organizing. All right, what we gotta do? What we gotta do? Oh, you good at this? You good at? Oh yeah. Cause what's gonna happen if something climatic happen? Then niggas gonna get serious. I'm doing this video because I know that you have the power, and they're gonna tell you that they have the power. They're gonna tell you that because they know you're not gonna go through. Nobody gonna sit with you and run through this shit. Sit you down, say, "All right, here for 3 hours, nigga. We gonna talk about this shit. We gonna document it. We got a fucking article, 3,000 words, the same shit that I just been telling you." Nobody gonna do that. They can control you. It's no external teachers. It's no such thing as an external teacher. That's a lie. They only teach you what they want to teach you to control you. And then when people get in front of you, they're just trying to survive. So this is a beginning. This is an ending. We're moving into a new beginning. This new beginning, things will be different, especially from me. But in reference to the world, you'll see a shift. And this is not because I said it, because the moon and the nodes are aligned, because God said it. But once we understand it and we begin to move with this new energy and understanding, because people is going to talk to you about astrology and they not going to make no connections. I sat and made connections for 3 hours straight. Okay. So, with that being said, I hope you are able to gain something from this. You know what I'm saying? And I can only thank the Chakra Nova fam for real. Because it's not like I'm teaching a course, I'm learning and experiencing all of this shit all at the same time. So, we're going through Chakra Nova every Sunday, raising Kundalini, going through the meditations, going through the exercises, understanding the glandular process. Last week, we went through the heart chakra, which was a lot about letting go. And then just to prepare us for this blood moon, which is all about letting go, it would think that I have some crystal ball and I'm organizing it in this perfect way, but it's not like that. I'm just very much in the moment and grateful for the ancestors. I'm just grateful for the ancestors because things are tough, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still grateful. I still know and I still trust. If you are interested, you can click the link in the description. Use promo code YouTube40 to save 40% off. We still got 3 classes remaining. Plus, you will get the previous pre-records. Plus, you will get access to the only if you get the course, you get access to the Discord. So it's a premium Discord where we're really growing and building. So I want to really curate a community of people who are active in this particular spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? And even with the 40% off, you can still pay in installments, which break down to like 11 cent $11 a week or something crazy like that. So if interested, link in the description, or you can DM me on Instagram at the Hood Mystic. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Just really appreciate the time and energy that y'all used in listening to this. But ultimately, the job is not done. The job happens when you self actualize and raise Kundalini and learn from yourself. You have a whole educational system inside of you. And if you haven't tapped into that, may you find it now. And gratitude and positive energy to all families and all households, protection, positive energy to everybody that's going through this blood moon energy as we are letting go of old energies and accepting new roles and responsibilities in this new world. So, with all of that being said, I've been your host, the Hood Mystic. This have been the Shift Report, where shift happens. All right. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.